A special task force holds a final meeting, including SJSU President Mohammed Kayomi.
Ballots are in. See who won your vote for Associated Student Government.
I'm Rigoberto Gomes, live in San Jose. Students are fainting in the hallways of Dudley Moorhead Hall. I'll have a live report. Update News starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Hello and welcome to Update News. I'm Dustin Palacios.
And I'm Heather Miller. Thanks for joining us.
The SJSU Special Task Force on Racial Discrimination concluded their investigation. It is now up to the school to implement the task force's recommendations. It began in response to an incident where the 4 white SJSU freshmen were accused of committing a hate crime against their black roommate last semester.
A crisis is a terrible thing to waste.
Former Judge Dorsey led this task force that is expected to present their final recommendations to SJSU President Mohammed Kayomi. The recommendations included more training for residence hall staff and had required a diversity course for new students. The meeting was open to the public and had an appearance from President Kayomi. The president said after the meeting that his administration would move quickly to reward the efforts of the task force by following up on their recommendations.
I think the task force had did such a credible work, such a great work, and especially in such a very focused way, looked at all of the findings of the investigative report and came up with items that we can move forward and make our campus more a much better place.
I believe that these recommendations, if they're implemented, will dramatically improve the campus climate here at San Jose State.
The task force has also requested that the president create a timeline for putting these recommendations in place within 45 days.
Students protested this week regarding the current conditions of an SJSU building. Update News reporter Rigoberto Gomes has a live report. Rigo?
Some students from Dudley Moorhead Hall are angry about the appearance of their building, and they're hoping to get a facility that has an appealing environment. And they're hoping to get the attention of university administrators.
Hey, it's too hot.
In Dudley Moorhead Hall, students chanted, "It's too hot, we need change."
The issue here is that there's no air conditioning in this building, and students have actually fainted in this building. It's been recorded by a report from the psychology department.
An organization called Students for Dudley Moorhead Hall say they want their building to be innovative and more modern like other buildings at SJSU. Students for DMH staged a faint-in to dramatize the conditions. They say students fainted for real several years ago. The faint-in led to a protest at Tower Hall so the university officials could hear their complaints.
You need to be aware of this and fight for what you deserve, and for what we paid to be here, we deserve the best, because I'm broke, but I'm still paying hella money to be here, so why would I not get the best for my education?
A professor who became part of the protest says he teaches in Moorhead Hall.
They should be air conditioning in that building too, as well as fix our blinds because our blinds don't work, and fix the floor because there's tiles missing, basic repair. But the heat is the ultimate question because it's the dangerous question for our students, health concern.
Students chanted and wanted to speak to SJSU President Mohammed Kayomi, but he was not at his office.
We all know these buildings need to be updated. We all know they need to be improved for our students. The question is, how and when do we do this in the most cost-efficient manner?
The students say they will continue to protest until something is done about Dudley Moorhead Hall. Live in San Jose, I'm Rigoberto Gomes, Update News.
Interim Provost Andrew Hale Feinstein now has the job permanently. SJSU President Mohammed Kayomi announced the appointment this week. The effective date will be Monday, April 21st. In other administrative change, Vice President of Student Affairs William Nance is stepping down. Nance sent out a personal email to the SJSU community last Tuesday. His email states that he will be returning to his faculty position this fall 2014.
SJSU's newly elected Associated Student Government is already mapping out future plans for the fall. Update News reporter Ashley Cunha was there for the big announcement of the new student leaders.
If there's one thing students love, it's free food. But this time it was to celebrate the end of elections for AS government. The barbecue bash on Wednesday afternoon preceded the announcement of the new board for the 2014 to 2015 school year. Members of the Student Elections Committee felt the elections went over well, despite not meeting their goal.
I think the overall turnout was although it didn't reach the 15% that we wanted, it was good enough for us, yeah.
Not only was there a big turnout for the barbecue, but also for voting as well. The final tally was 2,725 students voting in this year's AS student government elections. This year had a voter turnout of 9.3% of the school. According to AS, in 2013 there were 2,755 students who voted, representing 10% of SJSU. But both years had an exceedingly higher number of voters than in 2012, when only 3.5% of the student body had voted.
I honestly think it was fantastic. I think it was a much better turnout than about 2 years ago. I think one of the main reasons for last year's huge turnout was the 3 referenda that really affected students on their AS fees. The candidates were a lot more involved this year. You could see literally there's stakes all over campus, flyers in a lot of classrooms.
Students gathered to hear the winners for the following school year, and 13 positions were filled. Victor Hernandez for Director of Student Rights and Responsibilities, Annie Blaylock for the Director of University Advising Affairs, Tiffany Wang, Director of Extracurricular Affairs, Lulu Amante for Director of External Affairs, Aditya Miral for Director of Intercultural Affairs, Jennifer Connors for Director of Student Fee Affairs, Jennifer Davis for Director of Environmental Affairs, Surbi Vijayawarjia for Director of Student Resource Affairs, Galena Owens for Director of Business Affairs, Jessica Puentes, Director of Communications, Brandon Marquez for Controller, Aaron Miller for Vice President, and Gary Daniels as AS President. Winners were overwhelmed with shock and excitement. Newly elected Vice President Aaron Miller was one of them.
What's that phrase? I'm going to Disneyland. I kind of felt like that a little, but I'm excited. I mean, I can't believe I felt really honored and validated, happy, a little nervous, but you know, it's to be expected.
Many candidates are also preparing themselves for next year, and the upcoming AS president has one message to fellow Spartans.
We need to get more involved in our campus, in our campus elections, in our student organizations, and really in the way our campus is run, because there's a lot of things that happen, you know, that we don't really know about, but that we could have the chance to make an impact on if we just were aware and involved.
There are still 3 open positions for AS government, and the final runoff election results will be announced Thursday, April 24th at noon on the Smith and Carlos lawn. Reporting from San Jose State, I'm Ashley Cunha, Update News.
The Heartbleed bug is causing San Jose State students to change their passwords. Information Technology Services sent out an emergency email notifying students that all SJSU One account passwords will be reset due to the bug. So far, there is no evidence of any malicious activity on this campus. According to theheartbleed.com, the bug allows anyone on the internet to read a server's memory. This exposure allows access to a person's username, password, instant messages, emails, and important documents.
There is still an ongoing investigation involving the missing medal from the Tommy Smith and John Carlos statue on the San Jose State campus. Last Thursday morning, custodian workers noticed the gold medal on Tommy Smith was shattered at the foot of the statue. The lead investigator for the case, UPD Captain Alan Cavallo, says the artist who created the statue and goes by Rigo23 has been contacted. Cavallo also says there is no date set for Rigo's return to repair the missing medal. There is still no word regarding whether the statue was vandalized.
Petty crime in downtown has increased recently. The city has plans to change that. Update News reporter Christian Carrasco has more on the story.
People walking in downtown might notice that there's more people and the streets are safer. You can thank that in part to San Jose Police Department's new Downtown Foot Patrol unit, which patrols the streets.
Foot Patrol is created to kind of concentrate on most of the core issues that are pertain to downtown San Jose. And that can go anywhere from the vagrant issues to much more serious violent crimes such as robbery.
The 5-man unit patrols downtown businesses and San Jose State student favorites, Cream, Smoke Eaters, and Flames, among others.
Yeah, it for sure helps to have the cops' presence around here. It definitely is going to make people feel safe. Even if they're not busting anyone or anything, it definitely is going to make them feel a lot more safe.
The city of San Jose recently allocated $200,000 for the 5-man unit, paying them overtime to patrol the downtown streets.
The city has invested additional resources there, building all those new playground equipment. All the families out there having McDonald's with their kids and barbecue and stuff like that, and that's the type of activity we as a police agency like to see. They utilize the park for that reason, and that's what we like to see. We like to see more of that, and that's why we put much more effort downtown.
That was Update News reporter Christian Carrasco.
The movement continues on the fight to stop the manufacturing of clothing in sweatshops. United Students Against Sweatshops presented an awareness day this past Tuesday. The organization is present on over 150 college campuses to try and stop college apparel from being made in sweatshops. The group of students talked about how SJSU should join with the WRC or Workers' Right Consortium to get rid of sweatshop apparel. They told students how sweatshop workers only make 10 cents an hour. Student Alan Longwell says he doesn't know how to help.
I kind of feel helpless. I don't really know what to do about overpowering the school's mindset of staying with this. I'm obviously not going to buy any of the apparel though.
If you are interested in joining, check out the organization's Facebook page.
Coming up, marine life may be at risk because of this lethal threat.
Students and groups on campus take back the night. But first, we ask students what measures should be taken to protect the Smith and Carlos statues.
I don't really know if there is much you can really do. I just let it happen. It doesn't seem like it gets vandalized very often, so it's it probably was just a fluke accident or maybe just a one-time thing. I don't think they're going to repeatedly vandalize it, so I just let it be.
Honestly, I guess if I really thought about it, and especially when it comes to nighttime, which is possibly when it happened, I would just increase any sort of security, I guess.
Probably just install cameras around it, because then you could also find out who took it, hopefully.
I like to think that people would have respect enough not to mess with it. So I'd like to think we live in a community that fosters respect and where I feel safe, where I don't need to have any precautions to protect it, that it should just be left alone.
If it were to happen again, the best case scenario would be to build some kind of, cage around it, get some cameras and maybe some even watchdogs.
More and more employers are using social media to check out potential hires. Over 90% of U.S. employers are using social media to recruit candidates. The Career Center hosted the Embarking on Your Job Research Through Social Media workshop. It was intended to help students understand the importance of having professional social media presence. Students learned what social media sites employers are most likely to look at. The top 3 were LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. The workshop had insight about building network and referrals. Students found the workshop helpful.
Because this wasn't common knowledge to me before, so I think it would be helpful to everyone to learn how to better find a job out in the workplace.
If you missed it, the Career Center has these workshops available online by searching the Career Center on the SJSU website in both audio and video versions.
Social media are one of the biggest outlets for trends, and not just for fashion. The selfie has risen in popularity with social media. A selfie is a photograph that you take of yourself and then upload it onto social media. It has become so popular that it has inspired a song called #selfie by the Chainsmokers. Students on campus say they take selfies to express their confidence.
Well, it's the way that they define themselves, oh, hey, I look good today, and may as well just take a selfie so all my friends can see. Because mostly you pay attention to yourself the most. I look good here and there, you're probably the one person that know it the most, right?
The trend is not going away. A simple hashtag selfie will only grow. SJSU students learn more about sexual assault and prevention from victims themselves. Take Back the Night is an event that is held across the country. At SJSU, it was held at the campus village. Take Back the Night lasted all day and had different events like an undie run, movie, and resource fair. Counseling Services was at the resource fair to show support along with other groups on campus.
For any person who's a survivor of sexual assault or maybe going through some issues related to their mental health, they're not necessarily going to seek out services, or they may not know where to go to. So we feel it's important to share our presence and make sure that people know that we're here and we're willing to help.
This is the 5th annual Take Back the Night at SJSU, but due to recent controversial events on campus, getting people involved was difficult. Peer health educator Jesus Garcia helped put on this year's Take Back the Night and feels strongly for the cause.
Over the years, I've seen so many people share their stories, and while I'm presenting in classrooms, just hearing students share how real this is, and that kind of started my interest into pursuing more about learning more, so going to conferences and really seeing what other campuses around the area are doing and how we can apply that to our campus.
Garcia helped start the program on campus called Spartans for Safety. There are many ways to get involved with organizations like Take Back the Night and Spartans for Safety. If you ever have any problems on campus with your health, don't hesitate to seek help with the health center.
Plastics are everywhere. Earth Day is around the corner, and according to a survey, some SJSU students confess they are very much dependent on plastics on a daily basis. According to Greenpeace, most landfill waste such as plastics end up in the ocean and take years to break down. Microbiology student Beatrice Camacho says this can be harmful to the marine environment.
30 million tons of plastic is produced every year in our planet. As a matter of fact, only one plastic bottle takes 450 years to decompose. More than 1 million marine mammals die every year due to plastic ingestion.
It's not like trash where you throw that away and there are microbes out there to degrade it. So it's a really tough compound to get rid of.
SJSU biology and environmental studies students encourage others on campus to educate themselves because what they throw away can end up in our food chain.
Like the whole life cycle of plastic and how it goes from us consuming and throwing it away into the ocean, being consumed by animals, and then also being consumed by us. It's a endless cycle.
95% of students admitted in a survey that the plastics they use on a daily basis are reusable. However, it was 50-50 when asked if California should ban plastics. California legislators are still trying to be the first state to enact a statewide ban on single-use of plastic bags. More than 200 students roamed the campus looking for a good place to view the blood moon this week. It was an event some students did not want to miss. This rare event happens when the Earth, Sun, and Moon align, sunlight coming through the Earth's atmosphere around the Earth's edges, making it red. Outside of Tower Hall, on top of the arena, patio, and all over campus, students clustered to watch the moon turn red. The busiest spot was in front of CVB dorms. Cloudy conditions made it difficult to see the blood moon.
It looks the same to me. From what I saw on Facebook, it's nothing like that. Like, it just looks like the regular moon tonight, just covered by clouds. So I'm still waiting for it to turn blood red or to see what all the fuss is about.
The next lunar eclipse will happen around October 8th this year.
All over the world, students are getting more into social media and being connected. SJSU students are on these social media sites all day long and still can't get enough.
I consume social media all day. I look at my phone, like I take breaks during class to look at my phone. I look at my phone as soon as I get up and as soon as I go to sleep, so it's all day.
Social media professor Michael Brito says that the use of social media is changing the way people learn, but he doesn't find it distracting.
But looking at Facebook and Twitter and following along on the conversations, actually, I tend to encourage that behavior.
SJSU senior Stella thinks about the use of laptops in class differently.
Yes, I definitely think having my computer in class is distracting, and just because of I feel like oh, I want to go on Facebook right now or Twitter.
Social media can be time-consuming and a distraction, but it is also helpful for the future.
I like social media a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's good to network. It's good to meet people. It's good to stay in the know. It's good for news, so I like it a lot.
The perks of being on social media are that you get to learn different cultures. It makes the world much smaller, right? I can connect with people in the Middle East.
Using social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn can help students get their own brand. It may be distracting, but staying connected is important.
Students ran around the campus on Monday in search of hidden treasure. The Associated Students sponsored the treasure hunt. It had chocolate Easter eggs and colorful boxes filled with candies and prizes. From all of the prizes, only 25 found boxes with $5 to $20 worth of gold points. Students who participated in the treasure hunt were eager to win.
I just heard that they're handing out free snacks and you could potentially win like $50 gift certificates. So I was like, wow, why not? Why not check it out?
Other students opened their goodie boxes hoping to win the gold point prizes. The lucky students who did win gold points claimed their prize at the AS house.
I'm Dustin. Dorsey, and still to come, in the world of sports, money seems to be a problem for more than just students. And later, we talk about a trend that is growing on the San Jose State campus. But first, we ask students, what does Easter mean to them?
Easter lands on 420, so I'm about to celebrate 420 and then probably go hang out with my family, eat some food, maybe go like a little Easter home with my little cousins or something.
Pretty much just, go to church in the morning, have a little family barbecue. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that this year. I'm working the whole day, so yeah.
Easter, I usually just go with my family to church for like one of the few times throughout the year. We usually have like a Sunday brunch or something.
For Easter, I have a lot of nephews and nieces, so we're just going to go to the park and do the Easter egg hunting.
Well, Easter happens to fall on 420, and every year I celebrate both holidays, and this year I'm just going to celebrate both on the same day. Should be a lot of candy and a lot of fun.
Are you a student struggling to pay for a decent meal? Update News reporter Janet Garcia has a story that offers some solutions.
Affording a decent meal can be difficult for students struggling to make ends meet with rising tuition costs. Freshman Michael Amir gets his meals at the dining commons.
And I come about 3-4 times a day. You make the most out of it. You get all your meals, you get some extra meals, midnight snack even.
There are many places off and on campus where students can eat. Students living on campus get the meal plan, and the prices are more than $2,000 for the semester. Meal plans are expensive, and students say they are not getting their money's worth and want cheaper alternatives.
I think it should, only because I found a lot of people struggling to pay for it, and that it's not, it's okay food, but it's not something you pay that much for.
Saving money is necessary for students, and meals are being skipped throughout the day to save extra money.
Especially being in the nursing program too, it's really expensive, so it's hard for me, yeah.
Nutrition and food science professor Marjorie Friedman says students struggling for food need to be helped as soon as possible over Skype.
That it is a serious issue at San Jose State. I think that we need to do a better job in identifying who these students are and providing solutions to them. And I've been trying for a number of years to push to get a food pantry on campus.
Students are advised to attend nutrition seminars and to stop by the health department to get tips on staying healthy throughout the year. From the health office, Janet Garcia, Update News.
And now we hand it off to Dustin for an update on SJSU athletics. Dustin, what's going on in sports?
Well, we're going to get started with the local Bay Area team. It's Sharks playoff season again, and what does that mean? The return of the playoff beards. Playoff beards have been a staple in the National Hockey League for years. It began as a superstition for players to stop shaving from the start of the playoffs until their team is eliminated. Today, however, it has grown to be something much more. Hockey fans help raise money for charities while supporting their favorite teams by growing playoff beards. The Sharks post a website called Beardathon. It allows fans to pledge money for their favorite beard grower. The money goes to the Sharks Foundation, which helps local charities.
I love how the Beardathon allows fans to support their team and support charities at the same time.
Log on to beardathon.com/sharks to learn more. Hockey is a club sport on campus, and club sports are a staple at San Jose State University. However, due to rising costs of sports, it has become more difficult for the students to compete.
Rugby is a club sport at SJSU. It allows students to be involved in a sport on campus. Besides rugby, these sports include hockey and bowling and many others. But despite the recent success of some of the club sports, there has been no extra help to pay for playing. The university gives a small portion of money to the teams. It is hardly enough to cover all of the costs. The rest of the money comes strictly from the athletes.
Well, $250 comes out of each of our pockets for playing 2 semesters of rugby. I'm not entirely sure what the school covers in there, but that pays for all our rugby, all our traveling expenses, jerseys, stuff like that, all our uniforms.
Well, for the regular season, we have to pay for all of our ice time, our coaches, our staff, like our trainers, and we have to pay for reffing, the officiating for all of our games, our jerseys, and all of our travel, because we make about 4 trips a year.
Both the San Jose State men's hockey team and the SJSU bowling team have recently qualified for championships in their respective sports. However, these trips are very expensive. So, should club sports receive more money from the university?
It would be nice to get more funding, but we try and get funding from other sources other than just the school, because it's just so much. It would be hard for the school to just cover all of that cost.
I think it'd be great if they helped us a little bit with certain things, like traveling would be great, just to give us a little more leeway there.
A SJSU club sports official says that the funds for the club sports are based on a point system rated by performance from a student IRA account. The university explained clubs are expected to fundraise to pay for the remaining costs for their sports. For now, the pay-to-play standard will stay in place.
The recent disclosure that SJSU Athletic Department is receiving 40% of student fees has raised several questions. A historic season for the SJSU gymnastics team is over after competing in the NCAA regionals. The gymnastics teams finished 6th place in the regionals competition in Minneapolis. The team fell just under 3 points short of being able to qualify for nationals. The Lady Spartans qualified for regionals for only the 7th time in the program history. In addition, SJSU produced the best gymnast in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, Julia Greer. Along with Greer, 7 Spartans earned all conference honors throughout the season. Despite the disappointment of not making it to nationals, the season is not seen as disappointing.
This last season was a great one for Spartan Gymnastics. We've laid a great foundation for them to do well and follow in our footsteps, and I just hope they can all step up and continue to break records and do amazing things.
With 16 gymnasts expected to return next season, there is much to look forward to for SJSU Gymnastics. And now, here's a rundown of the other Spartan sports events going on this past week. The baseball team had 2 games this week. The Spartans beat the Santa Clara Broncos 10-7, and on Sunday, in an extra inning thriller, SJSU beat UNLV 4-3. First baseman Matt Carroll hit a walk-off single, bringing in the winning run. The Spartans are now 12-25 on the season. The softball team took the field Thursday afternoon against Boise State, where the team lost 7-6. Earlier in the week, the Lady Spartans won their game Sunday, shutting out the Lobos 5-0 en route to winning the overall series versus New Mexico. San Jose softball now has 23 wins and 17 losses on the year. And finally, the women's golf team finished 7th overall out of 15 teams in the Silverado Showdown tournament this week in Napa, California. Sophomore Regan de Guzman finished 4th individually. And that's all I have for sports, but if you haven't already, go out there and support your local teams.
Thanks, Dustin.
That'll do for now. Thanks for joining us.
Don't forget to search Update News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also check out the Update News on the Spartan Dailies app.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.